Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video we are going to be doing what if we put Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, into Jordan's era of basketball here, taking the NBA all the way back to 1985 and throwing Giannis on the Bucks here to see exactly how his career would play out. We did this with LeBron about a week or two ago, and I'll link that down in the description below if you're interested in watching that video as well. But here we go, Giannis starting out at a 77 overall, and in his first season here, let's see how it ends up going. Magic Johnson getting MVP here with the Los Angeles Lakers, and our Bucks end up as the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference because we honestly have a pretty solid team around us with Sidney Moncrief and a few other guys that are honestly some of the Milwaukee Bucks greats of all time, so we'll take it. On the Western Conference side, they are led by Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets. To check out how we had Giannis contributing in the first year, about 8.4 points per game off the bench, going up 4 overall points at 19 years old. So we'll definitely take that. Around the league, Jordan leading the entire league in scoring, followed by Dominique, Magic, Jeff Malone, and Larry Bird. In our first round matchup, we blow through and end up making it to the championship game here against Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets in the first round. So we get a free chip here because Sidney Moncrief kind of put in some work for us. Obviously, we contributed a little, but more or less, it was just a free ring for Giannis in year one here, putting up okay stats off the bench, but of course, only a bench piece. Looking at the Bucks here in year 2, and it looks like Giannis is already gone, so maybe some type of CPU trade or something, and he's now on the Cleveland Cavaliers, so I'm interested to see what the squad that we're going to be working with here in what would be 1986 is looking like. He's actually one of the higher overalls on the team, along guys like World Be Free and Roy Hinson. So nothing too crazy here. Definitely a spot that he can carve out a bigger role. And in year 2 here, Hakeem gets another MVP. Going crazy. Checking out the standings here, we do not make playoffs with only 38 wins on the season. But this team is going to allow Giannis to get a lot of progression because he is going to be getting a lot of touches behind World Be Free. So we will take it. Check out what those stats were looking like for him on this season, and definitely a pretty big improvement, 13.8 a game. Definitely getting his rebounds as well, get in there with now an 86 overall, so not too bad for his year 2 in the league. We'll be watching the finals from the sidelines here, and then check out the league leaders. You got Jordan, Dominique, Kiki, Magic, and Hakeem rounding out the top 5 in scoring. For scoring here in 1986, of course, the regular season. Watching the finals from the sidelines, our Bucks that we did win a championship with last year are now going up against the Rockets in a rematch yet again. And let's see if it goes the same way. It's going to a Game 7, and this time Hakeem and the Rockets end up edging it out, with Hakeem getting himself a Finals MVP. Moving us into year 3, aka 1987. Giannis now all the way up to the highest overall on his team. Going to be the #1 option over World Be Free this year, and it still does not propel us to a playoff spot, which kind of sucks. We do come in the 9th seed, so just missing out. Giannis putting up over 20 a game and putting up a great stat line here at, of course, an extremely young age of 20 years old here at now a 91 overall. And no real surprise here, the Rockets go back to the NBA championship with Hakeem and end up grabbing another one with Hakeem getting another Finals MVP early in this sim. Moving us into year 4, aka what would be 1988 here. A 93 overall, Giannis Antetokounmpo is leading the charge for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. MVP of the regular season going to none other than Chuck, aka Charles Barkley, going ahead and getting himself an MVP season there. You'd love to see it. Checking out the standings here, we finally do make the playoffs with a 40-42 record, so not too great, but it gets us enough to get in as the #7 seed here. Giannis averaging 24 a game on the season, now a 2-time All-Star here, putting up a double-double on the season at now 21 years old. Across the league, you can see who the top scorers are. Isaiah Thomas leading the charge for the Sixers. And our first round matchup here is up against a Pacers team that's led by Dominique Wilkins, and they actually have Sleepy Floyd as well. So let's see how this one turns out and if we can make it out of the first round here. And ultimately, we cannot, as they kind of body us. We get knocked out in 6 here. Giannis dropping 36 and 12 in the loss. Dominique Wilkins, of course, dropping 32 right back as he is super talented. The Wizards go on to get a chip here with, I believe, Jeff Malone. Actually, Mark Price goes ahead and gets Finals MVP there. Interesting to see. Year 5 now, what would be 1989 here. Checking out the where Giannis went because he is no longer on this Cavs team. And in free agency, it looks like he headed over to the Spurs. Giannis now at 96 overall, playing alongside two interesting players in Drazen Petrovic and Kiki, who can definitely shoot the ball. And having shooting around Giannis is a huge thing that can help us out a lot here. MVP going to Chuck yet again. Rookie of the Year, Tim Hardaway coming in and doing it with the Jazz. Love to see it, 16 a game for him as a rookie. Giannis in a new role, actually not the leading scorer on the Spurs team behind Kiki. And the top scorers in the league got Alex English, Isaiah Thomas, Herb Williams, Michael Jordan rounding out the top four right there. First round matchup here up against the Minnesota Timberwolves that are coming in as the number 8 seed here in the first round. Our number 1 seed Spurs definitely can knock them out pretty easy here, going up 3-1 and ultimately knocking them out in 5 games right there. And interesting to see if we can make a run this year. Kiki dropping a 40 piece in that game. And like I said, him and Drazen can definitely get some buckets from long range for us here, which will be huge. Second round here, a tough matchup in Hakeem Olajuwon's solidified championship team in the Rockets. We did beat them with the Bucks, but we are not a huge contributor, so let's see what we can do here in round 2. Going to game 7 against them here. It's going to be a huge, hard-fought game here. Hopefully we can edge it out against them, but let's see what ends up happening. And it looks like we are actually out to a fairly solid lead here in all honesty, so let's hope we can just keep it. And yes sir, we do. 125-115. Drazen Petrovic leading the charge for us there, despite a great game from Hakeem, as you can imagine. Back to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in a while, up against the Trailblazers here with Clyde Drexler and Hot Rod Williams, and they're not going to let us go easy as they drop us off 4-0 there. Clyde dropping a 33 piece to lead the charge. Giannis putting up 23 and 13, but it was not enough. Trailblazer squad meeting up against the Celtics with Kevin McHale in the finals here, but Clyde says no, and gets himself a finals MVP there in a 4-0 sweep as well. Moving us into year 6 here with this San Antonio Spurs squad that has added Brad Daugherty, who's a pretty good big man, so we'll take it. Alongside Drazen Petrovic is still here, but Kiki has walked in free agency. Hakeem Olajuwon getting MVP here. And we have an extremely strong regular season here where we come in as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference with Giannis being our leading scorer and leading the charge here. Now a 4-time All-Star already in this early sim. Magic number 1 in scoring, followed by Clyde, Hakeem, and Isaiah Thomas. First round here, we do end up catching a dub, and the second round, so we hopped right into the juicy matchup here, going to the Western Conference Finals up against, yet again, Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets. And this time we cannot rout them as this team is definitely super tough. 39 and 20 in that game for Hakeem Olajuwon to get it done for his squad. So you definitely have to show him some respect for that one. He's going to be up against his Bucks squad with Patrick Ewing and Shawn Kemp, a great big man duo. So it might even be a little too much for him, and it seems to be. Patrick Ewing getting the MVP of the finals there for the Bucks. Moving us into year 7 here, where we have a one-time NBA champion and a many-time All-Star in Giannis, now at 99 overall for this Spurs team. And we're working with a 4-star system proficiency. MVP of the regular season ends up going to Hakeem. And we're going to hop right into the second round here, where we're up against our former teammate in Kiki, and of course, former Rookie of the Year in Tim Hardaway here in the second round. And they 4-0 sweep us, which you do not love to see at all. John Stockton going off, Tim Hardaway. It's a really solid team. They go to the finals and go to a Game 7 where they lose to Isaiah Thomas's Sixers. And some interesting guys coming in the league here like Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning at this point. And we're moving into year 8, which is now 1992 season. Still rocking out with a pretty similar team here. Hakeem goes ahead and gets another MVP, just showing you how dominant he truly was. First round of the playoffs here, we're up against the LA Lakers, who are coming in as the number 7 seed. Probably not the easiest 7 seed to go up against, though, if I'm going to be honest here. Find ourselves down 3-1 in the series. We start fighting back, but unfortunately, we get bounced and upset here in the first round in 6 games. You just hate to see it. Magic putting up 33 in the dub. Giannis putting up 24 and 7, but it was not enough. Watching the finals from the sidelines here, the Raptors end up taking it all, with the finals MVP going to Scottie Pippen there. Some interesting guys entering the league yet again, and Chris Webber and Penny Hardaway here, moving us into year 9, which would be 1993 season in the NBA. Giannis has dipped from the Spurs squad, so I guess he just decided he was not going to be winning a championship with this team. Moving over to the Hawks, where he's still a 99 overall, alongside a guy like Shawn Kemp and Rod Strickland, who are definitely some better pieces around him. So we'll see if he can make something happen with this team here going forward, with working with the 4-star system proficiency yet again. And it almost feels like deja vu at this point, a 30-18 season from Hakeem, getting himself another regular season MVP there. Looking at our player stats, Giannis coming in and leading the charge for this team, followed by Rod Strickland and Shawn Kemp, who are not too far behind him, honestly, scoring-wise, which you definitely love to see, as Giannis is, of course, an all-star level player, and it looks like we have two of them around us. So we'll take that heading into playoffs here. You love to see it. We definitely make the playoffs where we're up against this Nets team in the first round here, and hopefully we can bounce them and start making a little run here, but as I say that, we get swept 4-0 in a game that definitely should not have been a sweep. So it is what it is. We always have next year to regroup, and we're going to see how this ends up going. Joe Dumars was kind of the guy that took us out with 34 points on our head there. The Rockets get another Finals MVP in Hakeem Olajuwon and another championship in general to go on his hand. Moving us into year 10 here. As you can see, our team's still looking very much the same. Giannis, Rod Strickland, and Shawn Kemp leading out the big three for this squad. Giannis playing like about 38 games a minute at this point, which is 38 minutes a game at this point, which is pretty high in all honesty. So let's see if we can make some type of run this year. I would definitely love to see Giannis grab himself an NBA championship where maybe he's the number one option. So let's see if that changes anything here. David Robinson ends up getting MVP. Rookie of the Year was Jason Kidd coming in the league. And we get bounced in the first round in the tough Game 7 against this Wizards team that goes on to win it all and just smokes everybody besides us. We gave them the best fight. Chris Webber ends up getting Finals MVP with that one. Moving us into year 11 here. David Robinson getting MVP. Rookie of the Year is a young Kevin Garnett coming in the league. We have an opportunity to make a splash here and move to the Eastern Conference Finals if we can beat this Wizards team that did just win the chip last year and is looking good. We end up taking it by 9 right there. Chris Webber dropping 27, as you can imagine. But Giannis not letting it happen this time. 45 and 11, only missing. He went 22 for 33, so that's honestly really good for Giannis in all honesty on 45 points. Moving us to the Eastern Conference Finals where we're up against Danny Manning and Scottie Pippen. Not an easy matchup. But hopefully we can pull it out, as it is a tough fall series early on here, going to a Game 7, and thankfully in Game 7 we do pull through. Giannis having a solid game there, but honestly, actually not even that good of a game, going 8 for 25. Honestly, kind of a trash game now that I think about it. But we'll take it. A win is a win. Somehow they played worse than us. We'll take it. Going to the finals here, up against the Rockets, of course, led by Hakeem yet again. Pretty tough team to face in the finals. It's all tied up at 2 here. And of course, we're going to start hopping into Simcast through these games. And it's looking good there as we do grab a dub there, putting us up a game. Rod Strickland dropping 33 with 17 assists there. Huge game for him. And we could take it all home here. Hopefully we do not have to go to a Game 7. But it's not looking that way for us, honestly. We end up losing by 7 with a big fourth quarter comeback. 32 from Giannis there, but it was not enough. And thankfully, we do end up taking it all with Giannis getting himself an MVP of the finals there. Love to see it. Beating out Hakeem and the Rockets, a tough task there. And one of the greatest draft classes ever is coming into the league. As you can see, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, and just some absolute ballers in that draft class, which moves us into the 1996 season. Chris Webber getting an MVP season there, putting up 23 and 14 on the year. Rookie of the Year ends up going to Steve Nash, who actually fell outside of the top 5 in that draft, going to the Heat. Looking at the player stats here for us, 25 a game for Giannis, stepping his game up even more with that Finals MVP last year, maybe setting the tone. Kevin Garnett ends up taking it there, getting Finals MVP, moving us into year 13, which would now be 1997. David Robinson getting a huge year, 25 and 19 on the season to get that MVP. We're moving to the Eastern Conference Finals where we're up against the Knicks here, and we're coming in as the dog, but we have a chance here. It's going to a Game 7, and we end up getting the upset with 3 straight dubs there. Giannis contributing pretty well, honestly, shooting 9 for 12 in that dub. Going up against the Clippers here in the finals, hopefully we can get another championship on our resume, but it's not looking great as we find ourselves down 3-1 here. We need to have an insane game, stretch of games here, and we get one. Let's see what we could do here. Giannis putting up 21 in the dub. We are down by 2 games here. We need to push it to Game 7 right here if we want a chance. And it's not looking great, as we end up getting put down there by about 15 points. Kenny Anderson actually gets a NBA championship and NBA Finals MVP. Moving us into year 14, which is now 1998 here. Giannis Antetokounmpo still leading the charge for this team with Rod Strickland. No more Brad Daugherty. You see Shaq getting his first MVP of this sim, which is definitely interesting. We don't really make any noise in the playoffs, but Shaq does end up taking it all the way with that Mavs squad, getting Finals MVP as well. Moving us into year 15, which would now be 1999. We now have a Paul Pierce beside us, which definitely no complaining about that. ESPN might complain, though, if you know what I mean. Jason Kidd getting an MVP season there with the T-Wolves, and no real noise from us in the playoffs as we watch the Heat go and get an NBA championship here, led by Shawn Kemp getting Finals MVP, moving us into year 16. And in year 16 here, Giannis still chilling at a 95 overall, unfortunately starting to hit some of that regression, as if you remember a couple seasons ago, he was a 99. Watching the finals from the sidelines yet again because we're not really making any noise in these playoffs. The Knicks end up winning it all with Orlando Woolridge Jr. getting Finals MVP. I'm not even sure who that is. Moving us into year 17 here with a 2001 season in real life. Giannis is now a 92 overall. Watching the Nuggets versus the Celtics here. Some interesting squads. Alonzo Mourning Jr. is in the league, which I'm not even sure how, but okay. Celtics end up taking it all here, and who ends up getting Finals MVP here is the real question. Stephon Marbury does his thing, moving us into 2002, aka year 18, and now 91 overall Giannis. MVP going to Dirk on the season there, doing his thing, getting us back to the Eastern Conference Finals here, where maybe we can make some more noise. But all we can do is hope as we end up losing that in 5 games. We get 1 game. Paul Pierce leading the charge for us with 34, but it was not enough, unfortunately. We will take our L. Knicks end up going back-to-back, and Orlando Woolridge Jr. gets another MVP of the Finals. Moving us into year 19, which is now 2003 here. Checking out the rotations. Pretty decent. Stephon Marbury gets an MVP season there with the Celtics. Defensive Player of the Year going to Shaq. Nuggets and the Magic here up in the Finals. Magic end up taking it with who getting Finals MVP here in 2003? Rip Hamilton. Not too shabby. Moving us into year 20, which would now be 2004. An 85 overall Giannis on his last couple legs of his NBA career. Gilbert Arenas getting MVP here. And Grizzlies end up winning it all with Melo at an 89 overall, getting Finals MVP. Moving us into year 21, which would be 2005, 81 overall Giannis. Trying to hang in there. MVP going to Gilbert Arenas, dropping 30 a game, doing his thing. Going crazy. Pacers versus the Nuggets. Pacers end up taking it in what would be Giannis' final season here. As you can see, he is retiring. Checking out, he does end up making the Hall of Fame and finishing pretty solid all-time among the points leaders. Not as crazy as the LeBron one, but it is Giannis and not LeBron, finishing 26 all-time in points. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the like button. If you want to see any type of video, let me know down in the comment section below what it is that you guys want to see. I appreciate you guys watching all the way through. Bean out.